Hey, what's up? Bear with me, I didn't sleep too well last night. It was about 3 a.m. and I'd watched some videos on YouTube and I just sort of had this idea, kind of an inspiration, so I thought I'd make a video for it. It's basically about ecosystem-based currency. Kind of a weird concept, although not entirely alien. Like, as a reference, I'm citing carbon credit. It's kind of a similar thing, only sort of like the worst possible version of what I had in mind. So the first video I watched was about the IndyMac bank failure, and this is just kind of one of those things that's sort of a no-brainer. I mean, banks, they loan out, they make bad loans, really aggressive, unintelligent loans to people with no integrity, and that causes problems later on. There's like a market correction, and that would be the technical term, and the banks go under. I mean, some people think that the banks is kind of a big scam that the banks are running. That's also a possibility, but that still doesn't sort of negate the inherent failure on the judgment of the banks when they create these horrible, bad decision loans. The second video I watched was about the water crisis in Golan Heights. Don't worry about references for these, because I'm going to put the links in the sidebar in case anybody wants to watch these videos. Basically, this second video was about how there's this serious water crisis in Golan Heights, and it's a very valuable water source, but it's under extreme environmental threat. They're basically just sucking the water dry, and they're having to pipe it in at exorbitant fees just to be able to survive. This is near Israel. So I sort of prepared a little kind of editorial or description after this explanation, but I'll read the summary first. Essentially, money won't have any real value until it is based on the measurable health and well-being of the environment, as opposed to being based on nothing like it is now, or based on like the gold standard like it was previously. So now I'm going to read the editorial, and that'll pretty much conclude this presentation. The meaning of money is to represent value. However, the idea of value has to be based on something larger than mere human interests, which represent mostly parasitic and ecologically exploitive elements that ultimately lower the quality of all our lives by degrading the environment. In other words, humans need to learn to prioritize and focus on what is really important in life, rather than just what they think is important. Right now, the vast majority of us live on an artificial layer that does exactly the opposite. We are mentally isolated from the fundamental realities of the energy and resources that we use to continue living. Things that should be obvious, like give and take, have become a commercialized process that attempts to maximize take while minimizing give, essentially attempting to go against the most basic and irrevocable laws of nature. It's a mistake to believe that these processes are succeeding in their defiance of thermodynamics. They're not. In fact, what they're really doing is pushing us all closer to an inconspicuous yet very real self-annihilation. Why are we alive? Because we are part of a circulatory ecosystem. No matter how efficiently we exploit the system, we will still be dependent upon it. Furthermore, our health, collective and individual, is inexorably linked to the health of this ecosystem. In comparison to the ecology, our biggest and brightest industrial accomplishment is nothing more than a huge waste of time if it doesn't take the health of the ecosystem into account. Ignoring this truth is no different than suicide, however gradually that may occur. Yet time and time again, people are convinced that they can get something for nothing. They are convinced that some form of technology will enable them to cheat the environment. This process is no different than when banks give out credit to people who have no personal integrity. Forget about basing money on gold. Gold is worthless in ecological terms. It's an inert metal that contributes no noticeable benefit to the environment. Forget about carbon trading. We already have one form of currency based on the traffic and exchange of poison. It's called oil futures. Although by futures, I'm sure what they really mean is a future where humans replace dinosaurs as the next generation of primordial muck. It's time to start basing the lifeblood of our economy on something that actually makes sense. Something that really does have lasting, relevant value. Not just to us, but to the most important and valuable thing on Earth, the all-inclusive ecosystem. In the words of William McDonough, when do humans become tools of nature? A currency based on our ecological prosperity is one that rises and falls with our own collective vitality. Such a market would create a form of money backed by life itself, rather than the death and destruction fancied by the current model. Therefore, providing the ultimate in economic stability. Ecological currency would also regulate industry, automatically forcing it to adhere to rational energy laws and environmental well-being. But maybe best of all, it would mean that with every dollar spent, we really would be investing in our future, the only kind of practical future possible, one where people wake up to the reality that we are not masters of nature, but just another random side effect of an ecosystem that allows us to exist incidentally, but only as long as we respect our place in it. So that was the editorial, kind of a little borderline environmental extremist like I tend to be sometimes, so hopefully the main idea, which really does make a lot of sense, will also sort of be conveyed through the editorial. And that's really all I have to say on this topic, so thanks for watching.